The Pro Angler series of kayaks is Anchor Trolley Ready, which means it's got brass inserts molded into either side of the kayak for accepting the Anchor Trolley kit. Using the Anchor Trolley and a traditional anchor is my preferred method to anchor to the bottom in deeper water. If I'm in shallow water, I can use my Power Pull Micro, but the Anchor Trolley and a traditional anchor will get me anchored in that deeper offshore water. It can be used with a stakeout pole if you don't have a Power Pull Micro installed on your kayak and you just have a stakeout, or it can also be used to anchor up in shallow water using a traditional anchor. Sometimes here in Southern California, when we're fishing offshore, we'll utilize a drift chute to slow our drift over certain fishing areas. We'll also tie off to the kelp at times to fish in there in the kelp forests. So the Anchor Trolley is really important for that, in that it allows the kayak to face either straight up current or down current so you can manage the seas. Hobie offers 2 Anchor Trolley kits. One is specifically for trolley ready kayaks, which we'll be using today on the Pro Angler. The other uses a well nut installation for those kayaks that don't have pre-installed hatches throughout the kayak. The line's gonna come bundled up, but you'll need to untie the lines so that you can complete the installation of the cheek block pulleys. And you'll also need to probably trim some of this line away to finish up the installation. Go ahead and get in here with a flat edge surface. You can use a little pocket knife like I'm using, or a flathead screwdriver. And just get under there and pop these little plastic plugs out. There's a shallow end of the pulley and a deeper end of the pulley. You'll use that longer 1-inch screw to go through the deep end of the pulley, the part with the actual roller on it, and then the shallow end of the pulley, we've got a shorter screw that goes through there, and each of these will thread into the brass insert in the boat. Your kit comes with some blue Loctite thread lockers, so you're going to want to apply that to the threads of the screw. And a loose installation here at first is going to be best, just so you can have a little bit of wiggle room if you need it to install that second screw. Go ahead and thread that all the way down until it's snug. And those are plugged just to prevent debris and salt buildup inside the molded brass inserts. You know, if you didn't do this installation right away when the boat was new, definitely there's a chance for some buildup to get going in there. Again, the wide side of the pulley facing the center of the kayak. Gonna go in partially. In the trolley kit, there are a couple well nut assemblies that look like this. This has a longer screw in, so I'm just gonna disassemble this. You're actually gonna swap out the screw that's holding that assembly together with a short flathead screw. You're just gonna put that right through there, apply some Loctite to that, and then thread into these brass inserts. There's one here at the back of the H-rail and one up front near the front of the H-rail. The last step in the hardware installations before you run the trolley line is to remove this screw so you can install a tie-off point. That pad eye there is going to be a little bit more easily accessible from the seat. So just back that one all the way out. There's a longer flathead screw included in your trolley kit, and you have an extra eyelet post there. It's a little bit longer so it can reach through the eyelet post. So just place a finger on that nut back there so you don't push. And we'll cover this a little bit later, but a wrap around this eyelet post is gonna lock the trolley line in place. Even though you'll probably mostly be held in place by the current, this will be an extra measure of security take a wrap around there, and the bite of the line on itself will stop it there so that your anchor point will stay fixed wherever you've moved it to on the trolley. Now you're ready to run the lines through the pulleys, and one thing you want to be sure of is that this shock cord assembly with the 2 rings on it is on the bottom trajectory. So I'm just going to lay that down on the ground first here. Then I'm going to take the terminal end of my trolley line and I'm going to run it up through the bottom of that aft pulley. Then I'm going to come over the top of this forward pulley. Then you're going to take that line, go through the loop that you untied it from, or through the ring that you untied it from. And there's going to be a little bit of stretch to this in the beginning. So laying it on the cockpit like this is going to help keep it nice and tidy once you bring it outboard and it's resting underneath those eyelet posts. And I'm going to do a double overhand. And then lastly, I'm going to trim and melt the end there. Give myself a little tag to work with. Cut away from me there. And melt that down until you've got a nice bulb on there. You could take the bottom of your lighter and press it down so it flares out a little bit. But it is pretty tacky in the beginning, so I'm just going to kind of let that natural bulb happen. That'll keep the line from fraying, it'll keep it from pulling through the end of the knot. Once you've got the trolley line all tied up to the 2 rings, I'm just gonna bring the whole system outboard and just below these eyelet posts. And that's gonna keep the trolley down on the side of your kayak. Stretch that out, and you may wanna retie it, especially after the first outing with it. So from the cockpit, you can reach over and grab this line and manipulate the anchor point anywhere you'd like, fore and aft along the kayak. All the way forward's gonna position your bow right into the conditions. All the way aft is gonna position you down current. And then when you're ready and in position with your trolley line, you're gonna take just 1 wrap around that, and that line's gonna bite on itself and hold itself in place so it's not gonna slide freely. And just take 1 wrap off of that, and you can bring your anchor point right back to you. I like to put a carabiner here and clip around my anchor line so I've got a quick disconnect. I'll just unclip from the anchor line when I need to and retrieve my anchor. I chose to install the trolley on the right-hand side of the kayak, or the starboard side of the kayak, because I'm right-handed. It's a little bit easier for me to manipulate the trolley line on this side of the kayak, but the same brass inserts are on the port side, or the left-hand side of the kayak as well. So the same exact steps apply. You've just got to make sure that you apply your Loctite to your threads, use the correct length screws, and most importantly, be sure that the pulley portion of that cheek block is facing the middle of the kayak. For other install videos pertaining to this Pro Angler line of kayaks, check out the Pro Angler rigging series on Hobie's YouTube channel. And to see the full spread of Anchor Trolley compatible accessories, you can check out the gear tab on Hobie.com. You can find anchors, drift chutes, stakeout poles, and other accessories compatible with the Anchor Trolley kit there.